is we gotta get rid of the ambassador.
We're the ambassador, we're Ukraine. Get rid of her.
Hooray.
Take her out, okay?
Excellent.
Do it.
American citizen services, facilitate trade and commerce, work security issues, represent the U.S., and report to and advise Washington, to mention just some of our functions. And we make a difference every day. We are people who repeatedly uproot our lives, who risk and sometimes give our lives for this country. We are the 52 Americans who 40 years ago this month began 444 days of deprivation, torture, and captivity in Tehran. We are the dozens of Americans stationed at our embassy in Kyiv. The attacks are leading to a crisis in the State Department. Leadership vacancies go unfilled, and senior and mid-level impact on individuals to an impact on the institution itself. Competitive and complex time on the world. It is the responsibility of the department's leaders to stand up in our national security. I'd like to comment on one other matter before taking your questions. At the closed deposition, I expressed grave concerns about the degradation of the Foreign Service over the past few years and the failure of State Department leadership to push back as foreign and corrupt interests.
You saw the call record for this phone call.
When it was released publicly at the end of September, I believe.
And prior to reading that call record, were you aware that President Trump had specifically made reference to you in that call?
No.
What was your reaction to learning that?
I was shocked, absolutely shocked, and devastated, frankly.
What do you mean by devastated?
I was shocked and devastated that I would feature to this nation's foreign policy interests in Libya 8 years ago. We honor these individuals. They represent each one of you here and every American. These courageous individuals were attacked because they symbolized America. What you need to know, what Americans need to know, is that while thankfully most of us answer the call to duty in far less dramatic ways, every Foreign Service officer runs the same risks. And very often, so do our families. They serve too. As individuals, we answer the call to duty to advance and protect the interests of the United States. We take our oath seriously, the same oath that each of you take, to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I count myself lucky to be a foreign...
Justifying the president is attacking you on Twitter, and I'd like to give you a chance to respond. I'll read part of one of his tweets. Everywhere, Marie, he goes on to say, later in the tweet, is a U.S. president's absolute right to appoint ambassadors. First of all, Ambassador Yovanovitch, the Senate has a chance to confirm or deny an ambassador, do they not?
Yes, advise and consent.
But would you like to respond to the president's attack that everywhere you went turned bad?
Well, I don't think I have such powers, not in Mogadishu, Somalia, and not in other places. I actually think that where I've served over the years, I and others have demonstrably made things better, for the U.S. as well as for the countries that I've served in. Ukraine, for example, where there are huge challenges, including, on the issue that we're discussing today of corruption. Huge challenges, but they've made progress since 2014, including in the years that I was there. And I think in part, the Ukrainian people get the most credit for that. A part of that credit goes to the work of the United States and to me as the ambassador in Ukraine.
Ambassador, you've shown the courage to come forward today and testify. Notwithstanding the fact you were urged by the White House or State Department not to, notwithstanding the fact that, as you testified earlier, the president implicitly threatened you in that call record, and now the president in real time is attacking you. What effect do you think that has on other witnesses' willingness to come forward and expose wrongdoing?
Well,
What was your reaction when you heard the President of the United States refer to you as bad news?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, again, appalled, devastated that the President of the United States would talk about any ambassador like that to a foreign head of state, and it was me. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
The next excerpt, when the President references you, is a short one, but he said, well, she's going to go through some things. Think when President Trump told President Zelensky and you read that you were going to go through some things?
I didn't know what to think, but I was very concerned.
What were you concerned about?
She's going to go through some things. It didn't sound good. It sounded like a threat.
Did you feel threatened?
I did.
How so?
It's very intimidating.
It's designed to intimidate, is it not?